Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Another edition of COVID-19 video here. So, what am I going to call this episode? I'll call this episode America Under Five Eyes. America Under Five Eyes. So, not that I'm into espionage or anything, but, I know I call this channel James Bond and everything, but uh, I'm not really into that kind of stuff, but I do keep my eyes open, my ears open, my eyes open, my ears to the ground, and I not that I listen for anything, but what I do like to do is I like to probe and analyze. I like to analyze things, probe and analyze things. So in some ways, I like to analyze. So I'm watching everything and seeing what's happening. In this episode, I'm going to talk about, the possibility of what's going to happen to China. Yes, China. Um, more to the government of China. What's going to happen if they don't accept the responsibility of the global pandemic? Right now, they've been very belligerent, very bold in their, I guess you call it propaganda, but it's more like lies. They've been really pushing the whole world into, not taking blame for this whole thing. I think a lot of this is going to really backfire in a bad way. I think they've been very rude, and I think they've angered a lot of people, a lot of countries. You have to understand, like, you know, as as I grow up, and I was very idealistic about how things worked in this world. Um, and when I finally grew up and I understood how the world really works, um, everything's not what it seems to be. It's a facade, you know. And but once you start peeling back the layers of this onion, you start to see everything for what it really is. And really, we truly are in live in anarchy. To be honest with you, we truly do live in anarchy. The only reason why, um, we have these rules and laws and everything is because we've decided as a world, at least the developed world, that we'll follow these rules because it's for the best to maintain peace and stability. All right, not necessarily what is right and what is wrong or what is just. When I say peace, I mean not like the hippie kind of peace, and free love, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about peace as in there's no global war, right, against the major countries. There's proxy wars, of course. There's conflicts all over the world. That's acceptable. Arms dealing is part of the business, but mainly, the powers that be, whether you want to call them cabals, the elites, the globalists, whatever you want to call it, like the the bankers, whatever you want to say, whatever conspiracy theory. I know some of you have them out there, but most people in general don't really want, conflict, especially with major superpowers, major players, because there's uh, a vested interest not to engage in a formal war, right? And because it doesn't do any good. It's a tremendous cost. It doesn't produce anything useful, and it's overall really bad business because the winner has to pay the loser. So uh, not ideal, not ideal. Also, you know, the powers that be don't want to see the world go into a financial collapse or a global pandemic. Now we have both. We have both. We're gonna hit the triple double here, people. We're gonna hit the triple double. We're gonna get a global pandemic, a global recession, and a global war. If if China does not bow down to the world and apologize to everyone, accept the responsibility. All right, China must accept responsibility. So China has to bow down to the world, accept responsibility, and apologize. But I don't see that happening. Um, some people are just too bullheaded. Have a lot of pride, and I understand. I understand. But you have to understand that the way the world works, because really we do honestly live in a world of anarchy. Okay, underneath all this layer of civility, down at the base of everything is a world of anarchy, and we're all here to make sense of this chaotic world. But at its core, at its base, is true anarchy. It really is. So we already live in a world of anarchy, and I could tell you right now that things that go on in the world that we don't know, at least the general public does not know, will never know, where you know you cross into a gray area, or even in a dark area, a black area, and these things happen quite a bit. And the point I'm getting to is, um, there's a whole world where decisions are made, where there's unwritten rules, unwritten laws, or unwritten understanding. Okay, these things aren't written down anywhere for us to point at and say, hey, look at that. They're just understood among the powers that be. And the powers that be, whatever conspiracy theory you have, but there's certain people who have power, whether it's some form of a decentralized power structure where no one entity is in control. It's a group of entities pulling the strings of different countries or within those countries who make decisions. And I could, I now I'm just talking. All right, this is just my opinion, but I've learned the hard way in a lot of sense. Learning the hard way, you learn the lessons very well. Um, but stability and peace is very important, because when you have a situation where there's a potential global recession, global pandemic, and most likely very soon a global war, that's just bad business all around. All right, bad business all around. No one is going to profit from this at all. So, what I'm trying to say is that I think there's a lot of people who are upset. A lot of people who are upset. They don't like the situation going on. Um, they don't like how China handled it. All right. They don't like the way that China handled it. And so the reason why I titled this America Five Eyes, or America Under Five Eyes, is because a lot of people are very upset in the way China handled this. While, I mean, a lot of this information was pretty public. Matter of fact, the Senator Cotton from Arkansas, early January started really pushing. Early January or mid January, early February started really pushing this whole idea that this virus came from a Wuhan laboratory, um, and there was a lot of pushback. Right, a lot of people were very well. The media was very um, downplaying that, but in reality, very early on, rumors were swirling around like crazy rumors that this was a leaked virus from a laboratory. And so if I knew that, or if I've been hearing that, I wonder what the truth really is. I wonder what the you know, what kind of information, you know, different countries are getting. And I think China is very scared. China is very scared. They are like a dog who's about to be eaten, back backed into a corner. So, like I said, we are all in self-preservation, and I can give you a worse. I'll give you a worse scenario just because I'll just share my thoughts. Um, if conflict does break out, and I do think there's really a good chance because you got a global pandemic, you have a global recession. I do believe we are in a global recession. 30 million people filed for unemployment. Do people really want to go back to work knowing that they might get infected? I don't know. I asked my wife recently when she went shopping on Monday whether how if the prices seemed higher, and she said the prices seemed higher, and I think they are because um, you have to hire people to work at a higher wage because nobody wants to work minimum wage in a global pandemic. They have to sanitize everything, take more time to stock stuff. So, possible loss of revenue, you know. So they have to raise the prices. So inflation's already setting in. Um, so here's what I think could happen, and I'm just sharing it so all of you could get prepared, or you could try to resolve the situation, and this will never happen. Okay, but the powers that be in every country, every nation, are not happy. They want something to be done. They want some resolution. They want compensation, and it's China's going to have to pay. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because China doesn't really have the money to do that. They don't really have that much natural resources. Matter of fact, the greatest resource China has is its people to exploit. Okay, so the government of China is exploiting its people. That's its greatest resources, and the whole world has accepted that because we buy cheap goods. All right, we want the cheap labor, but the whole world is now coming to a conclusion that that's not worth it anymore because of this whole global pandemic. So there's really not a lot to China. Maybe some natural resources, but I think China's pretty much like a dog that's about to be eaten. All right, all right, a dog that's about to be eaten, and its back is up against the corner. It doesn't have much of a choice but to fight at this point. I don't think Russia is going to come to help China. Russia is actually in the same predicament as the rest of the world, not very happy, by the way. I don't think Russia's very happy. Um, China's all alone in this. Maybe Iran, maybe, but Iran's not that happy. But possibly Iran would back up China. Other than that, I just don't see any other places. As a matter of fact, all the other countries that owe China money, they would be very happy to see their debt go away. All right. Um, the African countries aren't very happy with China. All right. So there's a lot of things. China has a lot of problems, and like I said, the only way for China to get out of this whole situation is to bow down to the world, accept responsibility, and apologize. And that's about it. That's the only option for them. Otherwise, they'll have to fight their way out of this, and it's basically the world versus China. I don't think China's going to win. It'll be long and drawn out. Possibility of nuclear exchange, possibility, but I don't think that's going to happen because that's mutual annihilation. But it could be possible. I mean, you know, people become irrational, especially if they're fighting for their livelihood. I'm talking about as an entity, as a governing entity. Um, so a lot of things could happen, but in the end, if a war scenario did break out and it was against China, China would fall. And what would most likely happen is that the country of China would be divided amongst the victors. That would also probably most likely include Russia. Russia probably wants a part of China, so they would be on board. Matter of fact, if you asked me, but I'm in no position of power, okay? But if you ask me, I would definitely give the nod. I would definitely give the nod, okay? Matter of fact, I am nodding right now. But it's not up to me. You know, we live in a world of anarchy. We really do. And no one person is in control. It is, many different entities that have a vested interest. And we live in a world where we go by unwritten understanding, unwritten rules. And unfortunately, I think China just broke all of them. Okay. And so no one's going to talk about this. There will be nothing in writing. We're all looking at each other and we're just wondering what we're going to do. And we're waiting for the nod. We're nodding to each other. You know, something has to be done. Something has to be done. All right, so let me get into the numbers real quick. So I'll just get into numbers real quick and I'll end the episode. That's the only thing I wanted to talk about. You know, I only do these type of videos once a week or on the weekends. So just giving you my opinion and my thoughts about the whole situation. So let's just get into the numbers here. All right, so 1 million, over 1 million in, oh my God, I don't even count this number. It's 1 million, well, 1,132,539. I can't even say the number right. And the new cases today is 29,078. 29,078 new cases today. Death, I think by the time we finish with all this pandemic stuff, we're definitely going to get to 100,000, maybe even a few 100,000. This is not looking good. So 66,369 with a new death of 1,426 new death today. All right, here's the chart. Let's look at the log. Okay, I'm looking at the log. Normal. Man, that thing's just gonna keep going. Just keep going. At least it's flattening. I don't know if it's trending downwards. I guess the overall trend, if you look at here and you look at here and you kind of look at here and here, it's kind of trending with exception of these little spikes here and here. But anyways, it's just not looking good. This is a slow burn, slow burn. Massachusetts really getting bad now. New Jersey, it's just gonna slowly burn its way through. It's already, New England states are burning. Michigan and Illinois, Ohio. I mean, it's just starting to spread up here. Florida and Georgia, then it'll spread throughout the southeast and Louisiana and Texas. I think Texas has more than Louisiana now in confirmed cases. So the south is burning as well, and the west coast is burning as well. California, especially California. And then you got good old Colorado just burning away, smoking the weed. And then the surrounding states will, they'll eventually get a slow burn. They'll get a whiff of that marijuana. Let's have a look at the total numbers. Yeah. It's averaging between upper 20s to 30,000, and it's going to be that way for a while. It could be that way all throughout the year, and we still got a possible second wave coming. Yeah, this is not good. I was hoping I would have really good news and say this is over, but the reality is we're not finished. Okay, this is just the beginning, and there's still economic fallout and also the potential for conflict on the horizon. And it seems like the more information, confirmed information, is gathered, the more and more the case is going to be, it's leading to conflict. Anyways, let me just get into my situation. I've got to worry about enough stuff in my own front yard right now. Everyone's dealing with. See, right now we're not going to go to war right away because we're dealing with a pandemic right now. But as soon as this thing settles down, people want answers. All right, and they're not going to be satisfied until we get an answer. So that's that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know any other way to make this right other than to have China come out. Why isn't this not working? Anyways, this is not working. I don't know what it is, but let's go to this one. So we got 30,000 cases in Texas, but I'm going to focus here. When I started looking at this, it's Missouri City, Fort Bend County. It was only 101. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago, and now it's up to 176. So it's growing, and most likely will continue to grow. I have a feeling that it will continue to grow, and there's no stopping. I've already seen this. According to the IHME projections, Texas has a little double hump going on here. It's supposed to be 3 days since peak, but I don't know. The way it's going, it just seems like this is long and drawn out. Anyways, I don't have much to say. It was just yesterday I made a video. How much can you go over the numbers? My conclusion for this whole thing, I'm going to end this episode, is that people want answers, and eventually we're going to get answers. But the answers you seek, are you ready to accept those answers? Are you ready to really understand and get those answers? Because the answer you get, you may not be happy with. because there's a lot of things I think China does that it's really going to piss everyone off. And do we really want, how much do you want to dig into it? All right, how much do you want to dig into it? Because a lot of people are unhappy. A lot of people are unhappy. Anyways, I'm going to conclude this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. What are your thoughts? Are we going to go to war with China? Let me know. Until then, bye.